Erica, if you had to describe the freight railroad as a TV show, what would it be and why?
Yeah, I would say before I joined the industry, it would be Little House on the Prairie because it seemed very old-fashioned and irrelevant.
I'm picturing you in a bonnet now.
I could rock that.
You're really good.
Yeah. And then I would change my answer once I joined to The Office because there were always shenanigans and hijinks going on. So
Now I need to know who the Michael Scott was, but we don't need to get into it.
And so the thing that we're really going to focus on in this episode is getting much deeper into the context of how do we make it easier to ship by rail and to work carloads into your business. So super excited to kind of kick off this conversation. So to kind of lead it in, walk us through, Erica, like how does someone happen upon a need for rail cars?
yeah, so let's say that you open a business, you're making products, and you realize that you have some customers that are close by, so you would use truck, right? But you could reach a bigger market if you could get your goods to that place in an efficient manner, and so that would open up a lot more business for you. So then that's where transportation and different modes of transportation come in, and rail is the most efficient and cost effective for long haul moves.
So when I kind of think about the four sides of the marketplace that we operate in, it feels like at some point in history, railroads and shippers decided, hey, we don't want two things on our P&L. We don't want people kind of doing the rail work, and we definitely don't want rail cars on our P&L. Is that kind of how the industry came to be? Is that like people just said like, hey, we don't want to own rail cars, and so but we need them, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, and if we do our jobs really well, you won't even know that we're there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly how it came to be. I think back in the day, railroads owned a crazy amount of different businesses, right? They were into trucking, some still are. They owned hotels,
Golf courses,
like different things, right? But that wasn't their main focus, and that wasn't their center of expertise, right? And so it was railroading and running a railroad. Well, part of running a railroad doesn't necessarily mean owning the rail cars, for which you move.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of a drag on the balance sheet at the end of the day. And so the more that they have given that up, well, someone has to catch that because, on the same hand, shippers aren't transportation experts either, right? And so they don't want to own rail cars and pay for taxes and marking and regulatory stuff. They don't want to keep up with that.
Right.
I mean, some of them do, but the majority don't. They want to focus on their business.
Yeah.
And so having an industry like railcar leasing enables everyone to do what they do best.
So let's imagine Maddie is now in the rail business.
I need a rail
Congratulations.
car. I need a rail car bad.
And Maddie needs a rail car.
Real bad.
Real bad.
Real bad.
Yeah.
What is step one of
Yeah.
her finding out how to get started?
Yeah, you would work with a railroad. So your business, if you needed rail cars, would be located on a site that's serviced by a railroad. That railroad would have contacts at several railcar leasing companies. From there, they would make the introduction, and then you would be in touch with a salesperson at one of those companies.
So do they choose? Are they
Sometimes,
giving you
yeah.
some optionality? If I'm like
Some
a shipper
do.
entering the market and they're going to give me 3 different...
Well, I hope not, right?
Yeah.
So you try to nurture those relationships at Class 1 railroads because you want to be the person that they
You
go
want
to.
to be, their go-to.
And you become that person through, answering those inquiries in a timely manner
Yeah.
and delivering great service. So they know when they're handing their customer off to you, they trust
They trust that you're going to
follow through. The rail industry is so complex and so hard to understand that you kind of need a guide, right? And when you find one contact at the railroad, they're likely going to hand you off to 10 others to do everything that needs to be completed in order to onboard you and get you set up. if you're an existing customer, you already know the players in the market because you've dealt with it before. You know the companies, you may not know the contacts. You can go to the website. I mean, there's, numerous ways to get in touch, but a brand new shipper is not going to have that information typically.
So, Erica, we kind of talked a little bit about, hey, what is the setup process for a new shipper? How do you get pricing? How do you get started? How would you rate the accessibility of actually getting a rail car from, hard, medium? Like, what does that process look like?
Scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, scale of 1 to 10, however you choose to answer that.
If you're a new shipper, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would put it at like a 3.
Okay.
Because
Why?
it's really hard. It's not intuitive.
Yeah.
If you are a seasoned shipper, it's much easier. You just kind of know the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd put it at like a 6 or maybe a 7. But there's definitely
We're still not at
room to
an 8
grow.
though.
Definitely not an 8.
Oh,
no.
man.
I mean, here's the thing. It's come a long way
Yeah.
just in the last
Okay.
couple of years from whence it came.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So it's a lot better. But yeah, it could stand to get even better. I mean, people are now trained to have very few obstacles between, what they want right now and getting it
Yeah.
like tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah.
And so those are the brains we're working with now.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a lot of
like
expectations and like
yeah.
personal life of, hey, you order something on Amazon, it's going to hit your doorstep in maybe later today.
I mean, hoping.
I mean, if you're a Prime member,
I mean,
hopefully 2
obviously.
hours, right? So what would you say is, how do we get to an 8?
Yeah, I would say through technology, so everyone having the information that they need in order to make a decision. And from that decision, railcar lessors being able to execute on that. But let's say, for example, that you are operating a business in Ohio, you need a car in Ohio, but when you reach out, you don't know where those cars are,
Yeah.
right? And we don't know where you need those cars unless you share that with us.
Yeah.
And so what if they knew off the bat, okay, you have 100 cars in Ohio, right? And they're the car type that we need. It's really simple versus even just to get to that conversation, there are multiple steps.
Do you think you are more likely to buy from a store if you know that it has available inventory down the block? Do you think just knowing the inventory and that the product is available, it's clearly available for you right now, do you think that incentivizes you to buy more?
It depends, but yeah, I think it could play a part or a role.
Interesting.
Certainly, it depends on what intent am I walking through the door with. Is it that I need whatever I'm looking at immediately or somewhat immediately, and if so, I'm not going to take a chance. I'm going to go ahead and get it, and then I can put that out of my mind and say, okay, I've taken care of that thing on my checklist.
Yeah.
Now, what are the other things? But if I'm just kind of shopping around, I'm like, well, if I see something, maybe I'll get it, but I don't need it. No,
Right.
it's not going to move
Yeah.
the needle.
Right.
Really depends. Yeah, I mean, people shop around for sure. They're like, you know what? I don't know if we're going to go into that business this year. If the
Yeah.
pricing is right, maybe. You know.
Information
So-
gathering to make decisions.
That's right. Yeah.
But there is window shopping and railcar leasing, is
Oh,
what you're
yeah.
telling us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's
Wow.
some gold plated, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Christmas themed.
Absolutely.
So Erica, it's super funny because you talked about your love of macroeconomic discussion and intel. Thinking about the broader rail car market, and you talked about that rail is oftentimes a leading indicator to what's going to happen in the economy. What are you seeing from that's maybe changing in the marketplace today? Are people taking on different types of rail cars more so than they are? Are there, I mean, is oil a concern right now, or is aggregates way up because of data center build outs? Like, what are you kind of seeing?
Yeah, I think it's all of the above, and I think it's a lagging indicator because there's policies that are set, there's tariffs that are levied, and as a result of all of those movements in the market, ultimately you see volumes go up or down, but there's always a reaction,
Okay,
right?
okay.
And so you can draw it right back to a policy or to like a tariff, regulatory deadlines, all of that stuff. And yeah, you're right. Like with data center buildouts. There's, boxcars that are hitting the market.
Right.
Yeah.
There's aggregate hoppers that are in the mix. Cement is also up. And then, with oil concerns, with any market that's boom or bust, I would say it's very important to have assets ready to go.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how long that's going to hold.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so if you're a customer, you want to seize the moment as quickly as possible. You don't want to wait
Yeah.
120 days for a rail car, because that's 120 days, of lost profit.
Yeah, you're effectively holding a commodity.
That's
effectively, right?
I think there's definitely hope. Every day we're getting better, we're getting smarter. We've partnered with Telegraph that makes us way more intuitive, and customers love using that platform within Fleet AX. And so now there's, we hear all the time about customers that want to take on a new business or grow or turn
Yeah.
on a new plant, but they don't know how many rail cars they'll need, and it's predicated on turn times with the railroad. Well, they have to get that information from two different sources. First, they have to know what the turn times are with the railroad,
Right.
and then they have to reach out to a lessor to see how many cars correlate with
Yep.
that.
Right. And then there's also the input of how much volume or SKUs are they actually moving, and then based on the cycle time. Effectively, you're kind of running a multivariate calculation of
That's right.
understanding inventory in motion, right?
That's right.
crazy. Okay.
Yeah, and most people don't have that expertise. It's
Yeah.
really trial and error for a lot of shippers that have been around a long time. Sorry, that have been around a long time. They know where to go, and kind of those calculations and what percentage they should allocate towards bad orders and that sort of thing,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah, there's a lot of things that go into that, and they sometimes need to make a decision on that pretty quickly, and they can't because they're reaching out to two different sources for the information. So.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So what's one of the things that when you kind of look over maybe the next 12 to 24 months that you're really excited about within the equipment leasing space?
Yeah, I would say that we have the ability, more so now than ever, to meet customers where they are and their level of expertise or the lack thereof. We want to be helpful to everyone.
Yeah.
We want everyone to win and grow their business. And so in order to do that, you can't have expectations levied upon your customer of showing up and having to know X, Y, and Z when they've never done it before.
Yeah.
They don't even know the right questions to ask. Instead, we're the experts.
Yeah.
We should help you and meet your needs without you even having to articulate what they are, because we've done this before with, we've touched just about every industry in the market. And so we know what those concerns are, and we can apply those to you and help you solve problems that you don't even know exist yet.
Yeah.
So, Erica, we're at a dinner party. Beautiful dinner party.
Very fancy.
Fancy spread. There's a
Fancy.
candelabra.
Love it.
The whole nine.
Someone
sounds
softly
amazing.
playing on the piano.
There's a violin wisping in the background.
Nice.
And all of a sudden, railcar leasing comes up. How would you explain railcar leasing to someone not from the industry at an actual dinner party?
Yeah, this happens.
Totally. I feel like once a week.
Apparently,
Probably.
you go to a lot of dinner parties.
I try. Who wants to cook? Am I right? Yeah. So I start with, when you're stuck at a siding and there's a train going by, and so you see the locomotive and then you see the trailing rail cars. Yeah. Well, likely that locomotive, the company on the side of that locomotive, does not own those rail cars, so they have to get them from somewhere, and the companies will get or lease their rail cars to put on that train, to give to that railroad to assemble that train. And so we're the companies that offer those rail cars to industrial shippers.
You're like the building block.
Yeah, that's right.
So, for the shippers listening out there in the audience, if you are frustrated either on the equipment side or on the freight railroad side, supply chain side, what's one thing that you should do tomorrow? What would you recommend to them?
Yeah. I would say to identify all of your pain points, write them down, and then seek a system that addresses those pain points. In the past, I would say that it's been a fragmented approach. You would have certain problems and you would seek solutions from different places. Now technology is such that you can find it all in one place. And might I suggest you go to Fleet AX, and we have a very good portal that has a lot of helpful information, and we also have Fleet AX Plus, through which Telegraph lives, and it addresses a lot of pain points that exist right now in the market.
So you would recommend that they are you a big list maker?
I am.
Okay, well there it
I
is.
am. It's
There
either
it
on
is.
my phone or I make it. Yeah, I like
I'm a
checking
list
things
person
off.
too. Me too.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, even if I do something and then I write, have
I'll
to
like
write it
is
down.
sometimes add things I already did to
Yeah.
my list just to check it off.
But it makes you feel.
It makes
good.
you feel so accomplished.
Yeah, right.
Is
Right.
this
Take a
is this-
shower.
Right?
check.
Yeah. Get up and brush your teeth. Check.
Is this
Yeah.
a product request we should maybe put in?
Do we need a list view?
Yeah, maybe. Erica, what would you say the most underrated role in the rail industry is?
I would say Shortlines. Anyone who works for a short line, I think they bring tremendous value to customers. They care about customers. You can sense it just in the way that they interact with them, and their customer service is just consistently very high.
Would totally agree with that.
What is one thing you would tell your younger self about the rail industry?
I would say it's worth it to keep at it. It really strengthened my grit and determination throughout my career, because I could look at days that were absolutely horrible and be like, well, I survived that, so I've got this. Like,
Yep.
nothing was as bad as a bad day on the railroad.
Harris, do you feel the same way?
Nothing is bad. Nothing is as bad as a bad day on the railroad. Was that the title of the memoir? Okay.
I feel like that needs to be on a T-shirt or something.
Yeah.
All right.
Erica, it has been so great having you here with us in Chicago as our first guest of this season of
Yeah.
Don't Dwell on It. It has been so much fun getting to catch up with you as a former coworker.
absolutely.
It's been great hearing your perspective about the industry, about railcar leasing, and I think it's been really cool hearing you share some of those experiences with the audience. You're welcome back anytime.
Thanks.
And we'd love to just catch up with you here in a couple months.
All right, sounds good.
All right,
Yeah,
thanks for
thanks for
joining.
having me.
Thanks for joining. It's been
For sure.
great.